After 6 Scream movies, it is time to rank the Ghostfaces from worst to best. Who's going to take our top spot? There's only one way to find out. Let's just jump right into this video. Welcome back to Wrestling with Horror. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and as I said already, we're going to be ranking the Ghostface killers from worst to best. We have 12 killers to go through and 6 movies. Now, as I did with the ranking of the films, I'm not really preparing a whole lot for this. I'm kind of just going off my gut instinct on who I like the best, who I don't really like the best, and we're going to kind of see where all these pieces fall. With that being said, let's just jump right in, and also let me know down in the comments what your list is for the killers. Who do you think the best Ghostface is? Put them in order, give me some reasons behind it, and let's get going. Starting us off at number 12 is going to be Ethan. Now, this character comes from Scream 6, and I'm not a big fan of him because throughout the movie he just seemed devoid of personality. It didn't seem like he really had a lot to do. He was just kind of the guy that was there in the background. He was part of the friend group, but he wasn't really part of the friend group because he was never there with them except for just a couple moments. And that just, I don't know. He didn't really fit what I wanted out of a Ghostface because we didn't really get to know him. And the twist about him being Detective Bailey's son just, I don't know, it felt kind of forced. Maybe that's just a sentiment that I felt, but that's why he's going to be here on my list. Coming in at number 11 is going to be his sister, Quinn. Now, Quinn's a character that is just slightly higher because we got to spend a little more time with her. We had the fake out death that she had, and that was a little interesting. But as far as everything else, kind of see Ethan for why she's this low on my list. And you know, again, just the whole killer reveal for Scream 6 kind of underwhelmed me. I think that there were some of it that worked really well. I think it was interesting that there were 3 of them. But for the most part, these 2 were just kind of not my favorite. All right, so number 10 is actually going to be Charlie from Scream 4. Now, I know a lot of people like Charlie a lot as a killer, but he kind of, for me, he just kind of seemed like that nerdy kid who was there, and he was just doing everything that Jill wanted, and he just got nothing at the end. He got stabbed in the heart and thrown away like he was nothing, and I don't understand why we couldn't have done a little bit more with this character, and that is why he ends up here on my list. All right, number 9 is going to be Amber. Amber is a killer from Scream 2022. And the only major thing that she really does throughout the film is that she claims she's the one that kills Dewey, which she had to have been, obviously. But that's pretty much it. Everything else, she's kind of forgettable. Even during the 3rd act, she's just this character running around acting psychotic. And she has a fight with Sydney and Gail. But beyond that, she doesn't really do a whole much. Her character through the whole film seems suspicious and jealous and just, I don't know, something was off about her the whole time. All right, number 8 is actually going to be Mrs. Loomis from Scream 2. Now, again, this is a killer that probably ranks much higher on most people's list, but for me, I don't know, she just didn't do it for me quite the way that some of the other killers did. I think she had a lot of good moments. She had a good 3rd act, a good fight with Sydney, and having Cotton thrown in there too, and her betrayal of Mickey, who we'll get to in a little bit. But I don't know. I like Laurie Metcalf in the role. I think that the character was good. I think it was a nice twist to have her be Billy's mom. And I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff here. And obviously from this point forward, these are all Ghostfaces that I really enjoy. I think they all serve their purpose very well. And it's not meant to be a negative thing to have her on this list, but somebody had to go here. Number 7 is going to be Roman from Scream 3. Roman's here solely because of the kind of retconning they did. I think it was a nice twist to have him be Sydney's brother from a past that Sydney had no idea her mother ever had. And it was it was kind of interesting, an interesting story to take it down that road. I know a lot of people don't like this element, and I understand why. And there's just a lot of things from Scream 3 that probably just take it down a notch, but I love Scream 3. Scream 3 is one of my favorite in the franchise, and, Roman's a big part why. And he's also the only Ghostface killer to do it all on his own. He's the only one who did not have an accomplice or a partner in any way. He did all of the killing on his own, and he was just very unapologetic. He knew exactly what he wanted. He wanted to direct a movie, and he did that, and he was making his sister the victim in the movie, but also getting revenge on her mother, even though her mother's already passed away. So there's just a lot of elements here that it just worked for me in that sense. Number 6 is Richie. Again, from Scream 2022. His character had a little bit more motivation than Amber. I think we got to know him a little bit better. Jack Quaid does a really good job in this role. He plays both the innocent boyfriend and the psychotic killer very well. He can switch in an instant, and he just portrays both of those parts so effortlessly, and it just really elevated the third act of that film for me. And it is a big reason why that film is one of my favorite in the franchise as well. And obviously that plays a big part in where I'm ranking these Ghostfaces. I'm trying to be unbiased about it, but like I said, I'm just going off gut instinct for this, and so that is why Richie lands here on the list. As I'm filming this, I realize that I have left somebody out. I left Detective Bailey from Scream 6 out. And honestly, it doesn't really matter where we put him in this list. Let's just kind of throw him a couple back, make him like 8 or 9, somewhere in there. It doesn't really matter. He's a little bit better than his kids as far as his motives and his portrayal and everything that comes with that reveal in Scream 6, but he's not much better. So that's, Detective Bailey's going to go at 8 or 9. It doesn't really matter. Let's just keep going. All right, next up on our list is going to be Jill from Scream 4. I like the way that Emma Roberts portrays this character. I think that she does a fantastic job of basically throughout the entire movie. We think that she is the new Sydney. We think that she is the final girl of this film, but she is anything but. She is a complete psychopath, and she wants Sydney's fame, and so she basically puts all this together, and she kills her partner, and then she stabs Sydney and leaves Sydney for dead, only to find out that she's not actually dead, of course, because Sydney doesn't die. And then you get the third act in the hospital. But the thing that really elevates Jill to this level on the list is the level of brutality that she puts herself through to make it look like she's the victim of all these horrific crimes. And that moment alone is really why she's here. I think she is probably one of the most twisted killers out of the entire franchise. Coming in at number 3 is Mickey from Scream 2. Mickey is here because I think that his motive is unique in that he doesn't really want to get away with it. He wants to get caught. He wants to blame the movies, and he's a film student. And obviously, I'm a big fan of Timothy Olyphant. I really think that he is a very underrated actor, and I like everything that he does in this movie. I like the way that he kind of subtly tries to hint that Derek is the killer earlier in the film, and he does a good job in the third act. I like how he reveals himself, and it just works for me personally, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm just a big fan of the actor that portrays this character. Now, we're at the top 2. We all kind of figured it would be these two, but who's number 1? Who's number 2? Well, personally, number 2 is Billy Loomis. I know most people probably have him number 1, and for good reason. He is the OG. He's played by Skeet Ulrich, and just a fantastic role. The back and forth between Sydney and Billy, whether he's innocent or whether he's guilty. He comes in, he drops the cell phone, makes himself look guilty in the moment, and then you find out he didn't make the call, so he looks innocent, but the whole time he's just looking so dang guilty. He talks like a criminal, he acts like a criminal, he seems like he's crazy, like he would do something like this. But slowly you start thinking maybe, well, he's not it. He can't be the killer. And then you start questioning everybody else. And especially when you get the scene where he is stabbed by Ghostface over and over again and cut and then left for dead when Sydney runs out. Then, of course, we get the reveal that he's not dead. He rolls down the stairs, and that's when we get the line, we all go a little crazy sometimes, and he reveals himself to be one of the Ghostface killers. And I just think his motive there's a lot of emotion attached to his motive. And obviously it's misplaced emotion, it's misplaced anger, because it had nothing to do with Sydney. It's not Sydney's fault, but yet he's taking this anger out on her, and he is getting his revenge that way. And it's very, like, extreme. And just the way that this character is portrayed and the way that it's written it's phenomenal. But of course, that leaves us with one Ghostface left, and that is Matthew Lillard, the actor who portrayed Stu in Scream 1996. Is the best part of that movie for me. His overacting, his ad-libbing, his spit acting, it all just makes everything better in that movie. He is absolutely hilarious. He is, like I said, he's the best part of the movie for me. I love everything that he brings to the table with this character. He is goofy. He acts weird sometimes. He even kind of implicates himself in a few ways, but it doesn't matter, because you still cheer for him, you still like him, and of course we all want him to be alive. We don't think that TV really killed him, and Matthew Lillard himself does not think that TV would have killed Stu. He's said it over and over again, and he's still hoping for that phone call where he can return to the franchise once more. And Stu is just my favorite character. His motive, of course, was peer pressure, and just his ad-libbing, I can't say enough about this character. He's just my favorite character in the entire series. I love the character of Stu so much. I want him back. I want him back so bad, and that's why I put him here at number 1. So that's going to be my list. Let me know down below what you thought. What is your list? If you think I'm crazy, you can go ahead and tell me I'm crazy, but be respectful about it. Let me know who your favorite Ghostface was. Who do you think should have been lower? Who should have been higher on my list? And as always, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos. This is probably going to be the last video we do on Scream for a little while. I'm ready to move on to something else and expand a little bit. So I'll see you next time on Wrestling with Horror.